Observer Research Foundation, 15th of September 2023, resolving the lack of trust between China and Nepal. China is supporting the communist insurgency and undermining Nepal's administration through corruption as part of an all-out war to enslave the country. On September 23, Pushpa Kamal Dahal, the Prime Minister of Nepal, is expected to travel to China during a protest over China's new map, which does not include the territories of Kalapani, Lipulekh, and Limpiyadhura as part of Nepal. In opposition to this action, the Nepal Student Union, a group connected to the Nepali Congress, planned a protest outside the Chinese embassy in Kathmandu. Balen Shah, the mayor of Kathmandu Municipality, even cancelled his trip to China to vent his resentment. The relationship between China and Nepal has not been as cordial as it once was during KP Sharma Oli's tenure as Prime Minister, which ended on February 15, 2018, and ended on May 13, 2021. After reports regarding China's potential incursion into Nepal in 2020 in the Humla district appeared in Nepalese media, ties between the two countries worsened. The Chinese embassy in Kathmandu immediately refuted any such incursion. The government of Nepal echoed China's assertions, claiming that there was no territorial dispute between the two nations. After that, in May 2021, a committee led by J. Rajacharya, the Joint Secretary of the Home Ministry, was established by the new administration led by Nepali Congress leader Sher Bahadur Deuba to look into the matter. Following a field visit to the Humla district, the committee reported to the government in September 2022, identifying legitimate issues with the border between China and Nepal. The report concluded that the problem could only be resolved by establishing a joint expert group involving the two nations. Following this incident, the Chinese embassy in Kathmandu noted on Twitter that the Pokhara International Airport was a flagship project of China-Nepal Belt and Road Initiative (BRI) cooperation, which further heightened the Nepalese people's suspicion of China's intentions. The airport was set to open on January 1 of this year. The government of Nepal swiftly denied this Chinese assertion. In 2016, Nepal did not even have a BRI agreement with China when it got a $215.96 million soft credit from the Exim Bank of China for building the Pokhara International Airport. 1 year later, in 2017, Nepal formally joined China's Belt and Road Initiative (BRI). The country reduced the number of projects initially chosen for the BRI from 35 to 9. However, not a single project under the BRI has been started, even 6 years after the agreement was signed. The multi-million-dollar Pokhara International Airport has been causing Nepal to suffer enormous economic losses. Even after 8 months of operation, this airport still does not host regular foreign flights. Therefore, the nation is not even able to repay the debt. The Nepalese people are terrified that any attempt to carry out BRI projects could force their nation into a debt trap, as Sri Lanka has, and hence jeopardize their sovereignty. It is commonly recognized that most BRI agreements lack transparency, which frequently benefits China's geopolitical interests rather than the recipient nations. For the construction of infrastructure projects under its grandiose Belt and Road Initiative, this was also one of the reasons why the previous government, led by the Nepali Congress and led by Sher Bahadur Deuba, had made it abundantly plain to China that it sought only grants and not commercial loans from the latter. However, it remains unclear why Pushpa Kamal Dahal, upon assuming the prime ministership, hurriedly let a Chinese team carry out an extensive analysis of the Kathmandu-Karung Railway, fully aware that this would turn out to be yet another unneeded expense for Nepal. Of Nepal's GDP. While China would undoubtedly be strategically interested in this multi-billion-dollar railway, which would have to cross the unstable Himalayan area, Nepal is unlikely to benefit economically. What would happen in this case if Nepal cannot pay back the loans for this project? Prime Minister Dahal hopes to close significant agreements with China during his upcoming visit to the nation, including opening a new border point for trade between the two countries, to get Nepal's relations with China back on track. This time, Nepal is probably going to suggest building 2 border transmission line projects with China, the Kimathunka border point in Koshi Province's Sonkhawasaba district and the 220 kV Chilaim-Karung cross-border, which is located 16 kilometers from the Nepal-China border at Rajwagati. Until now, Nepal lacked a transmission connection to interchange electricity with China. In addition to these initiatives, Nepal plans to enlist China's assistance in electrifying a portion of its border regions near the Chinese electricity distribution infrastructure. Most significantly, the two nations are also considering working together to invest in large hydropower projects like the 454 MW Arun Kimathunka. An agreement between the two nations might also be reached on constructing an underground electrical network system alongside China's expansion of the Kathmandu Ring Road. Above all, China and Nepal must pick up their bilateral defense and military ties. The Nepal army may do this by sending some officials to China to enroll in the National Defense Corps. In addition, the joint military drills between the Nepalese and Chinese armies are anticipated to restart under the auspices of the Sagarmatha Friendship, which has been on hold since 2019. Prime Minister Dahal's ability to ease the mistrust of the Nepalese people toward China while in China will be tested as he works to further the interests of his people. He should weigh the benefits and drawbacks of any new deal before signing it. In addition, he shouldn't be afraid to bring up boundary disputes or the write-off of loans for Chinese-financed projects that have been detrimental to Nepal. Stronger relations may be created if he can, and any trust deficit between the two nations could be rectified.